How to create a template. The first thing, if you are not in the template manager, is to click show more icons, click template manager, the button, and go here, the template manager area. Then I suggest that there are many ways, obviously, but I suggest that you're going to pick one letter that is similar to the letter that you want to create. I'm going to pick this one, okay, which is our generic dispute letter, especially for the fields. And then I'm going to click duplicate. You're about to create a copy of this record, so okay. And now you have it here, duplicated. How do you know that it's duplicated? Well, because if you click on it and go to the end, you're going to see that it says duplicate. Okay, so this one had been duplicated, but it has the same name. I'm going to change the name right away, and I'm going to put here tutorial sample. Simply so I don't get confused, and that's pretty much that. In this particular case, I'm going to save it first. Okay, so I have it identified in a different way, and I can change the category to put it in a different category. Maybe you want to put it in your marketing letters or in miscellaneous or other letters, whatever. That is perfectly possible. So you can change the category. Don't forget to save. And might be a letter that you don't want to use in the dispute center. So it could be a marketing letter instead of a dispute letter. So in which case you will uncheck from here. And again, you click save, not necessarily instantaneously, etc. Now you need to know a few things here. Again, the idea here is that we're going to preserve, if you will, we're going to preserve these fields if we want, if you think that they are useful. Otherwise, you can enter them from scratch. So if I want to enter, for example, the date of today, the today's date field, I can open here, go to the today's date, and enter it. I click on it, and it will be pasted to the cursor position. But this is really useful to have something, right? And things that are between double square brackets won't display. So this one is just so to remind you that if you want to put specific paragraph that is going to work only for Equifax, for example, you can put the numeral symbol plus EQ, then whatever you want inside, I mean a paragraph that is going to be only when you're sending the letter to Equifax, and then you end with numeral EQ as well. Same thing with Experian, and same thing with TransUnion. As a matter of fact, we have here a proactive paragraph that is exclusively for TransUnion, because TransUnion is the one that used to send this letter deemed suspicious. So, well, again, this paragraph only will be printed when it is a letter that goes to TransUnion. So if you want them for all the three bureaus, well, this one says Pacific and Union. So if you wanted something different, again, and then you will write whatever you want. Or if you want to have a modification on one of the letters, everything's fine. Also, you need to be aware that not every field will loop. There are certain fields that loop, and meaning loop that, for example, you can have several items, several derogatory items. So this central part here has fields that are going to loop. They're going to go and have a loop of several disputes the several derogatory items if they are selected at time of printing. So this block, so to speak, would be kind of important if your intention is to have, for example, in this case, the VP are the creditor, account ID, well, obviously account, and this is the item amount, which is this is the name, amount, or other, and the description is item description, and the image, if there are any, it will be item image. So you can have all these automatically, and this field here, this merge field, would be if you're using the compare feature in the dispute center, the table that will be created will be here. So if you eliminate this, no table will be created. And whether you use the compare feature or not, also it requires here. Also, another point, at the end, you may have these fields as signature. Notice that these merge fields are enclosed by square brackets, but not double square brackets, otherwise they won't print. So this one here won't print. The other ones with one will print. How to know what is the correct syntax? Well, you have them here. For context, you have these, all these can be inserted, can be merged. The agent fields, company fields, creditors fields, and bureau and dispute fields. Okay, so that's why if you have a letter that has all these symbols already in place, well, it's going to be easier for you to type around. So in this particular case, at the bottom, you can see the date of birth and the symbol, and those symbols again can be inserted from those pull-down menus, right? Those pull-down menu. Maybe the most important advice that I can give, and these are is a little bit more advanced. So you can see these curly brackets. These curly brackets with bars in between are to spin these words, so the letter will be different every time that is printed, so it cannot be recognized, or else it's going to be more difficult to be recognized by the OCR of the credit bureaus. And so again, can you use a spinning system? Yeah, but if you do it incorrectly, in other words, that it doesn't have an opening and a close and bars, not at the beginning, not at the end, but in between the words or paragraphs, that doesn't need to be just a word. Potentially, it can have one letter in full and then a bar and then another letter. That probably unnecessary and not very useful, but having words is useful. Here we have the signature. For example, you may want or not have the signature symbol that will emulate a signature automatically, first and last name, etc. So again, my biggest advice is that you use a template that exists already and modify the template in order to preserve these symbols. Otherwise, you're going to have to insert the symbols, and you may or may not made a mistake how you insert the symbol for lack of practice, etc. Some symbols are not possible to rotate. Okay, so that's why you need to apply a little bit of common sense, right? That's why having this example here, essentially these are the symbols that rotate or loop. That's where you can have several derogatory items, and when they print the letter, they're going to rotate based on credit bureau. So the ones, as you know already, the ones that goes to the ones that go to Equifax, it will be one group. The ones that go to TransUnion, another group, and the ones that go to Experian, another group, but they will loop as appropriate automatically and everything. All right. So if you put the signature here, well, that is not something that you would want. Even if you put it in the middle and will loop, well, it's going to be, a signature in between. Not necessarily. So you need to make sense, apply your common sense when you do this. You don't want to put the item compare for every dispute, because this is just one thing that englobe absolutely all the derogatories that you are comparing. There is another video for that. I'm not going to go into explaining that. I'm only explaining how to create a template. Ultimately, you can create a template just by, I'm going to say this even though I'm going to delete it later on, but you just can click add new dispute, and then another potentially option, right, would be to have a text and add a template and paste that text. By the way, if you are gonna choose that route, I strongly recommend that you click this button here and pass, meaning pass that text through here. Because if the text comes with an internal formatting, it's going to probably fool the system. It's going to be a disaster. It's not going to print. It's going to be a blank thing. So if you go through this one, you have all the chance to make it work. I strongly recommend do not use weird formatting like changing fonts and sizes. That is absolutely irrelevant for the OCRs. The only objective in life of a OCR, optical character recognition, is actually put everything that is in different fonts, in different colors, in different everything, to put it in regular text. That is the objective. So basically doing fancy things, it doesn't work at all, and it might corrupt the internal code for a particular letter. So strongly recommend, make it simple. You want to do some bolds, absolutely do them. Whatever, an underline or italics or bold, do it if you want to. Not necessarily, but sometimes you want to and you have to in some cases, right? But that's it, pretty much. Don't do much more than that. Not necessary. And it would be possible to do it appropriately. If you know HTML, you can do it correctly by clicking source, and then here you can modify it, but it's going to be something pretty advanced that I don't recommend to you to do unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, so that's it. It was a little long, but I hope that it covers every aspect of creating a new template. Thank you.